Chief Akin condemned instances where security agents were accused of colluding with terrorists and criticized the former Inspector General of Police for banning shotguns for licensed hunters, while herdsmen were thereafter spotted moving around with AK-47 machine guns. The group appealed to Nigeria's allies to mobilize more support for the country's fight against insurgency, arguing that sustained security was essential for economic progress. The Oyo State Governor, Engineer Oluseyi Abiodun Makinde, will present the 2026 Appropriation Bill to the House of Assembly on Monday, 24th of November 2025. According to a statement signed by the Special Advisor on Media to the State Governor, Dr. Sulaiman Olariwaju today, the 2026 budget estimate will be the seventh appropriation bill presented to the lawmakers by the governor since the election as the governor of the state in 2019. Recall that the state government held a series of stakeholders consultative and engagement meeting on the 2026 budget across the seven zones of the state a few weeks ago with a view to engaging residents of the state on their expectations for the 2026 budget. The State Executive Council, ministries, departments, and agencies concluded the Treasury Board meeting on the budget estimate on Monday, with the governor set to present the same to legislators next week. The Oyo State government has announced its readiness to hold a series of entertaining events under the banner of Vibrant December celebration across the state. The Commissioner for Culture and Tourism, Dr. Wasiu Olatunbosun, disclosed this during a press briefing at the Ibadan Cultural Center, where he outlined the state's plans for the month-long festivities, addressing journalists on the activities lined up for the Vibrant December event organized by Oyo State government in partnership with notable organizations. The Commissioner for Culture and Tourism, Dr. Wasiu Olatunbosun, said the initiative will create business opportunities for residents throughout the festive season. According to him, the carnival schedule to run from December 1 to January 2 is designed to establish a legacy that future administrations will not only emulate but will also be challenged to improve upon. In our remarks, the chairman of the House Committee on Culture and Tourism, Honorable Luranti Michael, representing the Ogbomoso North State constituency, urged the residents and visitors to turn out in large numbers to enjoy the celebrations. Residents and commuters in Ibadan have lamented the hike in transportation prices at the just commissioned Ibadan Central Terminal, Iwo Road, today. Recall that the Oyo State government commissioned the largest terminal in southwest Nigeria on the 12th of November 2025. As the festive season approaches, the resident in an interview with Agidigbo FM News expressed grievances over the price of taxis to different locations in Ibadan.
It's a very good initiative by the state government. I think it's well commendable because having experience in Lagos compared to what they have in Lagos and what we have here, I think we will have something similar. Because if you want to book your ticket in Lagos, once you enter the Oshodi terminal, I think you enter here, you can buy your ticket, then make way to where you are going to board the vehicle. I think they are still yet to complete this one because I didn't see anybody inside the booth that you can have your ticket. But however, I am yet to board any ticket here because I didn't have any means of traveling about. However, whenever I'm ready to do that, I think I'm going to do that one so that we can compare the price versus where they are picking before and where we are now. I think it's very commendable because the inside is very serene.
Speaking on Agidigbo FM's people-oriented program, Shokanwa, today, Comrade Femi Babalola reacted to the commuters' outcry over the sudden increase in the prices of transport and urged the government to do the needful.
I'm expecting the government to invite the PMS headship and then what's it called? Then the other commissioner. They have to find an amity between the two and see what and what could be done.
Comrade Babalola further noted that an increase in transport prices can worsen the economic hardship of the people. As Nigerians continue to experience unemployment issues, skill acquisition stands out as a light at the end of the tunnel. It stands as a pathway to self-reliance, innovation, and economic growth. Across cities and rural communities alike, Nigerians, young and old, are turning to vocational and technical skills to build sustainable livelihoods and reduce dependence on white collar jobs, from tailoring to shoemaking to ICT training and digital marketing, among many others. The list of skills transforming the lives of Nigerians is expanding every day. Akidibu FM News correspondent Olajumoke Oladojoye reports on skill acquisition and the role it plays in our society.
In a country where millions of young people enter the job market each year, the question remains, how can we bridge the gap between education and employment? The response to that question is skill acquisition, as it improves the employability of youths and builds entrepreneurs in society. In this demanding age, youths must learn practical abilities ranging from technical, vocational, or entrepreneurial abilities that enable individuals to earn a living, start businesses, or fill labor market gaps. Some of these skills include ICT and digital marketing, fashion and tailoring, hairdressing and beauty therapy, carpentry and construction, among many others. In an interview with Agidigbo FM News, a hairdresser, Mrs. Fumilola Atobatele, spoke on what motivated her to learn the skill and how it has changed her life.
When I was young, I like you and see fine hair on people. I do like it. I wish I can play this thing. So since then, and I have one of my friend. Her mother was a hairdresser then. So I used to go to her place. When I see what she's doing, I watch it like from far. But later, I started doing it with my younger sisters. I'll help them to weave their hair, small hair. So since then, I want to learn it, because when I work I earn my money. So from there I have some savings that I do, like buy things for my children, my savings without my husband giving me.
In a separate interview, Mr. Alagbe Taiwo Victor, an excellent fashion designer and stylist, spoke on the opportunities that have opened up for him since he became a professional.
I went for an exhibition in Lagos and it was very, very massive, and it was a very great opportunity to my brand. Right from time, I've always, even me wanted to, give back to my community, giving skills for free to the people that, that need it and all. So it's, it's a great advantage for me, at least to, to be of help to others, to my immediate environment. Game for me, and I met, a couple of celebrities that rock my brand, and they promoted me. So, and that changed the whole game for me.
A shoemaker opened up on if skill acquisition is getting the recognition it deserves and how it has contributed to reducing unemployment in our society.
Ìṣọwọ́ ò tí get àpọ́nlé tó yẹ kó get lọ́dọ̀ àwa youth.
I believe skill acquisition has not gotten the recognition it truly deserves, especially among we the youth, because we haven't placed a certain value on it. Skill acquisition has contributed to reducing unemployment among Nigerians in some ways. Nowadays, people are able to discover talent and gifts relating to handwork.
Ìṣọwọ́ ó create job opportunities.
In Nigeria, skill acquisition isn't about learning to sew or barb alone, but also about building a workforce that can adapt, innovate, and thrive in a changing economy. With the right awareness and mindset, the country's greatest resource is the people, and this can become the greatest advantage to drive the Nigerian economy. Olajumoke Oladunjoye, Agidigbo FM News.
Now it is time to link up with our United Kingdom studio for the foreign news.
News from Kule Hamzat Studio at Gidigbo FM, United Kingdom. I am Olushola Damilola. Sheikh Hasina, the ousted Prime Minister of Bangladesh, has been sentenced to death after being found guilty of crimes against humanity for the violent suppression of student protests last year that led to the collapse of her government. A panel of 3 judges from the International Crimes Tribunal delivered their verdict earlier today, ruling that Hasina was responsible for inciting hundreds of extrajudicial killings carried out by law enforcement agents. She ruled the South Asian country with an iron fist from 2009 to 2024, and the former Prime Minister has been living in self-imposed exile in India. She, however, rejected the ICT's allegation of human rights abuses. The United States government has increased pressure on Venezuela over the weekend, set to designate cartel de los Soles as foreign terrorist organization. US alleged the cartel is led by Venezuela President Nicolas Maduro and other high-ranking officials, while the announcement was yet another sign of tension between the two nations. According to President Donald Trump, the move will allow US to target certain assets and infrastructure in the country. The designation, which will be effective from November 24, comes as the United States increase its military presence in the Caribbean region. And that ends the news from Kunle Hamzat Studio at Gidigbo FM, United Kingdom. I am Olushola Damilola.
You're welcome back. Now we shall also be moving to our Maryland studio, United States, for more foreign news.
News from Kule Amzat Studio at Gidigbo FM, United States. I am Oluwatosi Soya. The United States increased pressure on Venezuela over the weekend, saying it will designate cartel the Lost Souls as a foreign terrorist organization, a move President Donald Trump suggested could allow the U.S. to target certain assets and infrastructure in the country. The U.S. alleges the cartel is led by Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and other high ranking officials, and the announcement was yet another sign of tensions between the countries as Trump weighs potential military options. The designation, which will be effective November 24, comes as the United States has ramped up its military presence in the Caribbean, including with the arrival of the world's largest aircraft carrier on Sunday. Tensions have risen between President Donald Trump and Maduro as U.S. forces target alleged drug trafficking operations, with the U.S. conducting its 21st known strike against an alleged drug boat over the weekend. US President Donald Trump has urged his fellow Republicans in Congress to vote for the release of files related to the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, reversing his earlier resistance to such a move. Trump's post on his Truth Social came after House Speaker Mike Johnson said earlier that he believed a vote on releasing Justice Department's documents in the Epstein case should help put to rest allegations that Trump had any connections to Epstein's abuse and trafficking of underage girls. Although Trump and Epstein were photographed together decades ago, the president has said the two men fell out before Epstein's convictions. Email released last week by a House committee showed the disgraced financier believed Trump knew about the girls, though it was not clear what that phrase meant. That ends the news from Kule Amzat Studio at Gidigbo FM, United States. I am Uluwatosi Soya.
You're welcome back once again. And now the exciting world of sport. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has commended the Super Eagles for putting up their best effort towards qualifying for the FIFA World Cup despite their loss in the playoffs on Sunday. The president charges the Eagles to put behind them the loss to the Democratic Republic of Congo and prepare for the African Cup of Nations, which will be held from January 2026 to February 2026 in Morocco. Nigeria's dream of featuring in the World Cup was dashed as Congo DR eliminated the Super Eagles in a dramatic qualifier playoff on Sunday night in Morocco. The Eagles lost in the penalty shootout after the game ended 1-1 in extra time. DR Congo triumphed 4-3 on penalties to advance to the Interconfederation playoff, keeping their own 2026 World Cup hopes alive. President Tinubu says that although it was painful that the Eagles failed to qualify for the World Cup tournament for the second consecutive time, the team must be commended for striving hard to reach the Mondial, particularly after winning their first playoff match. To wrap up the news this evening, here is a recap of the headlines. Yoruba group supports Tinubu's re-election. Makinde to present 2026 budget proposal to Assembly next Monday. State Department to designate Venezuelan cartel as a foreign terrorist organization. President Trump reverses stance on Epstein files, urges Republicans to vote for releasing them. President Tinubu commends Super Eagles, urges team to prepare for African Nations Cup. And before we go this evening, here is a quick tip. Do not go where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail. Finally, we have come to the end of the news around the world on the most listened to radio station at Gidigbo 88.7 FM Ibadan. I am Wuraula Yusuf. Thank you for listening. Good evening.
News is information, and information is power. At Agidigbo 88.7 FM, we bring the news from top to bottom.
The Oyo State government has said the